What do they want from this relationship, from the Indian government? Any bottlenecks they see when it comes to doing business in India?
Business always looks at transactions and deals. Of course, when any American company is doing business in India, they had a meeting with the Prime Minister yesterday and they did come up with issues or problems that they are facing, but most of those problems are easy to deal with. They are not some big policy issues that they are dealing with because, I mean, our Prime Minister has always been very accommodating as far as accommodating the requests of the head of the state is concerned. So if this head of the state has a very transactional view of his relationship with the rest of the world, I'm pretty sure our Prime Minister is going to address that as well. So, for example, he said to the American companies when he was in a meeting with them, I am making GST one step closer to ease of doing business for American companies. So if businesses understand transactions, here it is, served on a plate. I mean, GE has bagged one of the biggest locomotive production contracts in India in the last, I guess, 1 decade. There are talks about America first and Make in India, but it's not at the cost of each other. And this is the best example because...
Is there also a feeling in the US government that Make in India somehow clashes with Make in America?
The perception is yes. But again, this meeting or this visit is about clearing those perceptions. So, for example, as I was saying, on this deal on GE, where the locomotives will be physically produced in Patna, but the R&D jobs are in the US for that locomotive production. So it's creating jobs both sides. If creating 900 or building 900 locomotives in Patna, I think the R&D for those locomotive production is happening in the US. So I think it's a win-win for both. And if you look at the soft spots as well, there is a data out which says, I mean, we've come up with the data that says in the last 1 year itself, in 2015, 2016, the value add by the Indian students in America is $5 billion to the American economy. That's not a small figure. There are 260,000 jobs that support American exports to India. So we're not talking about Indian investment in the US or Indian jobs created in the US. Of course, that's again a very impressive figure of 100,000 jobs. But what we are talking about is jobs supported in the US because of the exports from US to India. So these are good figures, these are good transactions, this is good deal making. We look at Adobe, which is trying to set up one of the biggest R&Ds, the whole of Asia, in Noida. So transactions everywhere, I guess.
Absolutely. And we're just getting some breaking news about the travel ban. Supreme Court to hear the Trump appeal on the travel ban. We're going to get updates on that as well. And Republic is breaking this information. Ridhika, I'll request you to stay with us. President Trump travel ban to go into effect, and we'll hear oral arguments in the case this fall. The Supreme Court will allow parts of President Trump travel ban to go into effect, and we'll hear oral arguments in the case as well. This is what the US media is reporting, and through the day we have been told by the press in the United States that there are a lot of domestic issues that Trump has been busy with all morning. He has been tweeting about Democrats. Now this issue that has come up in the Supreme Court and domestic politics, issues like China, issues like ISIS, issues like North Korea are something that will be on Donald Trump's mind throughout.